So say more about what you see next for this ecosystem. I mean, a decade or two ago, to your point earlier, there was pretty much nobody investing with this kind of Christian lens in mind. Plenty of donation, charitable activity, but little to nothing on the for-profit investment angle. It's been a decade or two of growth in that, and Ambassadors has clearly been a part of helping develop this theme, let's call it. What do you see as sort of the next evolution or next season for this ecosystem? Like, where's the energy? Where do you see things changing and growing? Like, where else do you get excited as you look towards the next few years?
Yeah, I would say a thought leader that I respect very highly is Praxis, which is out of New York. And they have a very, what I would say is both aspirational vision and one that's inclusive. They talk about redemptive entrepreneurship and redemptive investing. And they have a number of playbooks on how to do it. And they highlight the power dynamics between investors and operators, which I think is really important in one of their playbooks called Redemptive Investing. They run a number of companies, 24 companies through their accelerator on an annual basis. And they really invest in these entrepreneurs in a way that I would say is next level. They invest in investors as well, in a capital fellowship cohorts where investors can think about how they're stewarding their capital or managing, but Christianese for how we manage our capital. And their perspective is one that's they're humble thought leaders. So that would be one. They've continued to grow, and my goodness, they've just scaled a lot.
A quick note before we continue the conversation. Alongside the Diligent Observer podcast and newsletter, I also run an outsourced operations service specifically built to serve angel networks. My team handles things like initial screening, social media, newsletter prep, platform management, and a whole lot more. The kinds of things that either aren't getting done or shouldn't be done by busy community leaders. If that sounds interesting to you, send me a note. Now, back to it.
Sovereign's Capital is one that I mentioned already. They have a Flourish Fund ETF. They're growing, by leaps and bounds. I think in a very thoughtful way. Faith-Driven Investor is another one that got founded just before we did in 2018, but has scaled dramatically. It's worldwide, and it allows those who are curious about faith-driven investing to jump into little foundation groups. So it's pretty intimate settings. And they also help entrepreneurs think about it. And they just launched Faith-Driven Teens. So helping teens think through, how do I integrate my faith into the work that I'm going to do, whatever that is. So those would be a few. There are the Lion's Den groups. These are groups that are Shark Tank type groups, but of course it's Christian, so Lion's Den. And those are some great groups. There's Redemptive Real Estate, which is focused on real estate. I just talked to a group this morning called Startup Garage, which is a great group that really focuses on the early stage, concept stage startups. And they're starting to grow across a number of different colleges. And so anyway, that's a fun group to know about as well. So what I would leave you with on this is, once you find one piece of the ecosystem, there's so many connections, so many funds, and it's a pretty exciting time, I would say. I think the challenge for us is to make sure that we kind of know our lanes, right, and play well together, which I think we do. And then also just remember just remember that our focus is to really steward this capital and fund these entrepreneurs in a way that should be a humble disposition, or we should recognize where we are as funders, because there's a power dynamic that sometimes can be difficult for the founders. But at the same time, we want to be good investors. We're not doing this isn't charity, right? And so we do want to make sure that when we're looking at terms and legal documents, that these aren't bad deals. And so that's that's a dynamic that's, hard sometimes, especially if you have a founder or an operator who's not maybe doing the right thing. And that can be really challenging.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Diligent Observer. I'm your host, Andrew, and if you're an angel investor looking for essential angel intel in 5 minutes every week, I think you'd enjoy my newsletter. I send my best stuff, interesting deals, and more straight to your inbox so you never miss a thing. Subscribe today at thediligentobserver.com.